This has been the most boring thing in the world. I was honestly expecting a lot more out of this, and I don't entirely know why. Started off great. Well, started off alright. I make the fake identity. Other people start rushing their plans, and then that means I have to rush mine a bit, so I burn down the temple that I built. I build my bunkers, I build a fake bunker that I'm not even sure if anybody has even come across yet. Even though I laid out the breadcrumbs so long ago, but I guess people just don't follow up on what they read. I mess with people, I send out feelers just to see how people think of different things and threaten people's lives. I don't actually take anybody's lives, even though I could very easily do so. And I'm doing all of this by myself too, which just makes it honestly all the more frustrating to do. One-man army is a difficult thing to be. Then I do a bit more crime. I burn down a boat, steal plenty of things from plenty of people. Honestly, when Fateseeker asked if I had anything of pilots in my possession, I said yes, it's in my armor. But not exactly like that can be traced, since it's, been melted down. But regardless, I do some crimes so that it actually would make sense for me to be thrown in prison like Undercity was trying so fervently to do. And now I'm here. And I have had one single visitor. That wasn't even really a visitor, it was mostly just business. Just coming down to give me an update about the trial and drop off some more fucking food. I would have thought I at least had one other visitor. With how thoroughly, at least, I pissed some people off and how dangerous I made myself out to be. But no. I'm just sitting here with this little bit of water to occasionally wash myself. And this fucking painting. I know that I asked for a painting, but honestly, it's a little insulting. A window with a cloudy view when I'm underground in a cell. And it's like how some prisoners get those fucking pictures of cats hanging off of tree branches saying, "Hang in there." This is just about that level of insulting. I'm mostly just surprised that no one else has come. Most of all surprised that Misbehaving hasn't come down here to shoot an arrow into my face one more time, at least. I tried so hard to make her want to just kill me. Repeatedly. And she did it once. When they put me in here. That was about it. But no. Now, despite the fact that I've mocked and jeered and taunted and destroyed personal property of Misbehaving, Hasn't even come down once. And that confuses me. Because I am a terrible person that has hurt and mocked and just generally been a bit of a dick towards them. And yet they aren't seeking some therapeutic assault. And it's not like I want to be assaulted. I do still feel pain, and I'm no masochist. But I want her to give in, follow those base urges, just lose it. That's why I singled her out for the most part. She's the most temperamental that I can see. And Fate Seeker is, just a goody two-shoes. Yes, he's skilled, and he's probably, while they claim to have a council, is probably the most predominant voice of Undercity. But he just feels too good for me to really get that same sort of reaction out of him that I would want out of misbehaving. Pilot, I was hoping, would have helped alleviate some of my work, but that turned out poorly. Well, yes, I did threaten them. Of course, they go and get themselves killed and don't even give me the satisfaction. And then I get harassed for not killing someone. And Ollie... they're interesting in some ways. They are naive. And they are easy to intimidate. But for some reason they seem to lean more towards Undercity. Whether that's out of respect or fear of them, I don't entirely know. But it appears I did not intimidate them enough. Well, at first I tried intimidating, and then I went a different way, and that might have been where I went wrong. Guess I should have stuck with one lane. I do have that problem sometimes, switching a bit back and forth between being intimidating and frightening and wanting to stab people, and then also just wanting to have a nice chat and being charismatic. And there's the others of this place that, honestly, the only one I really give a shit about is Moss. I don't know how they chose that name, or if it was chosen for them. But I don't believe it's a name that's befitting. Because moss is just a growth. A thing. A plant that sticks to rocks and trees. But what I saw when I went to their land, though they might not be combative or have much of a backbone, really, I feel as though they might have more power than most anyone else on this land of ours. They're spreading their grass and plant life far across a land that was previously not even home to anything of such regard, even going underground in that land. And even able to spread it far and wide down in those massive caverns. Not to mention the strange little underground market that they have, that they had the guts to place directly underneath the library of these three annoying, egotistical gods' mountains. So as it stands right now, I don't really care for much anyone except those two misbehaving in Moss. Moss could be an ally. I have done my best to appeal to their softer side. I've even entrusted them with my item. My soul item. I resent with every fiber of my being that I should even need to have something like that. But they should be helpful if I just play my cards right. Misbehaving. I don't know what it was I did wrong, just didn't do enough right. But apparently, they don't hate me enough yet. Because Fateseeker doesn't. And the only reason I have any interest in Fateseeker is that I want to make misbehaving a loose cannon. Disobeying the council of Undercity. To where her hate grows larger than her loyalty. This dry, heated chamber does horrible things for my throat. And my sanity. How boring it is here. If there was even one other visitor, I'd be able to plant even more seeds of discord. Just one other person ventures down here, and I could talk with them. And I know that they said they would have an Undercity escort alongside them. But that honestly might make things even better for two people to be listening to me. The more the better, honestly. But they said that they were seeking a trial and looking to have as many members of the server to join in as possible to have a jury of my peers. So it has to have been at least publicized that I have been arrested and placed here. But I guess this is what happens when you're cut off from the outside. You remain a little bit out of the loop. I know that I was doing this to spite the gods. And to force others to share in my suffering. But sitting and thinking and staring at this fucking painting. Is that really all that I wanted out of this? To make others miserable so that I wouldn't be alone in that? To make people hate me. so that they could, I guess in a way, pay attention to me. Huh. For all I know, this could just all be one big attention grab. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. I do still hate the gods for shackling us to these items, to have that control over us, and that they interfere with us when we do things that they don't want us to do. Like when I found that stronghold, that portal, read those books, which I subsequently burned. And that bizarre runic language that can place power into things. Everyone else use that runic language as much as they see fit, willy-nilly. Just placing it in books or directly applying it to their weapons, armor, tools. And that's all they do with it. They don't try to understand it, to read it. None of us made that. Languages are made, taught, read, or spoken, or both. And I was trying to do that. With those books in those libraries that I had stolen away. I didn't write anything down, except for things that I wanted other people to read. That language, that's all something I want for myself. I've been repeating back and forth, over and over, front to back, side to side, left and right, in my head, everything that I know about it. I'm no closer to figuring it out than when I started. So maybe it's a fruitless effort to even try to understand some language of people that came before us, that were just another tool of the gods, and whose roles we've taken over. Who knows? Maybe if I defy them enough, gain enough power, mess with enough people, destroy enough buildings, maybe they will just hit the big reset button. Erase us. And start again. But who knows if they can even do that. Maybe that's all they had, was to do that with the last, and the ones before us. And then with the last of their power, they do parlor tricks, appearing and disappearing where they wish, placing books in chests underneath various catacombs, and tying our essence to just something, some object, a book, a clock, a fishing pole, a dog, shackling us. So maybe this is all there is. And maybe my self-destructive road of rage and frustration is a fool's errand. And that maybe I should just be happy with what we have already. But to do that, you need to believe yourself actually capable of being happy. Trial was delayed. No idea when it will be. Scarcely know what I should say. How I should act. I'd rather not be here forever. I'd rather not hope for somebody to break me out. I doubt I'll get a life sentence. Fateseeker probably wouldn't allow that. Though misbehaving might want that. So maybe I should just play slightly naive. Adds a sprinkle of charm. Something else. I would say genuineness, but I don't even know what being genuine is. Because from the moment I stepped here, I was living a lie. I say Fateseeker's nice, but again, really? This fucking painting? Dick move.